Okay, we're going to replace the screen on this HP laptop. The model, as you can see, if it ever focuses here, is G9D74UA. I don't know what the actual model name is of this. It's a inexpensive HP laptop. I probably purchased at Walmart. The screen's cracked, as you can see inside there. You can see the LCD bleeding through. The way these come apart is very, very simple. Just going to take a iPhone opening tool, or even a slightly blunt knife, small pocket knife maybe, and simply insert that in between the two layers of plastic here. And you'll see that as you work your way around, the screen will separate. Comes apart very easily all the way around. Open the laptop all the way. As you work your way around the bottom, these will pop off as well. I've actually already popped this loose a little bit here, and there is some adhesive along the bottom edge here. It's simply the plastic glued to the screen. Run your separating tool in between and just kind of work it along like this, carefully separating the adhesive from the plastic. Don't just pull the plastic up, it's very thin, you'll break it. It's very easy to separate it, it's not very strong, it's just double-sided tape. Remove the screen. Now we're going to remove some screws. We have 4 screws we need to remove. If you look at the upper left-hand corner here, if I can get this to focus, you'll see that there's a big head screw and a small head screw. Same thing on this side, big head screw, small head screw. Down at the bottom you'll see there are 2 big head screws, an even bigger headed screw, and then a small screw. Same thing on this side. The only screws we're concerned about are these screws. The 4 on the inside, those are the ones that actually hold the LCD panel in. The other screws hold the hinge to the back cover, and the LCD reinforcement bar, which in this case is not even screwed into the LCD, just to the cover. So we're going to remove these screws. You'll want to use a good quality screwdriver for these. They're not particularly tight, but they do have Loctite on them. They come out fairly easily. You'll want to pay attention and not lose any or drop any. They are all the same size, so as long as you're taking out just these 4 screws, you should be all set. Now that we have the screws removed, the LCD just simply rotates forward. Lay it down on the laptop and you'll see the connector on the bottom, right here. You'll see the part number, serial number right here. And this is the point where you'd want to unbox your new one and compare and make sure you have the right connector in the right location, the right screw holes. This may not match, but if you ordered it for the correct laptop, you should be fine. This connector, has a piece of tape that holds it in place. You'll need to remove the tape in order to remove the connector. Pulling it up from the inside like I did. Don't try to pull it off of the connector cord. Pull it off of the monitor. You're going to reuse this when you put the new one on. If you don't have that in there tight and it doesn't stay tight, you'll have problems. Now we're going to get the new screen out and compare. Okay, you'll see I've unboxed the new screen and I've inspected it. Make sure that it's not broken. Looks good. It still has the protective film on the front of it. You're going to want to remove this after you install the screen. On the back side of the screen, we're most interested with the connector location and type. We're going to compare this to the old one. Set them right next to each other and look at our holes and look at our connector location and type and make sure it's exactly the same. You can hear the adhesive on the front of the old screen. Holes are in the same place. Screen's the same size and shape, which we expected. It's a different brand and it's going to have a different part number. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. Orient the screen the same way the other one was, just lay it right on the keyboard. And then we're going to reconnect our connector the same way it came off the first time. Simply slides in. You want to be very careful with this. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this while I do it. You want to be careful with this, not force anything. Keeping in mind that it slides in. Alright, now that it's slid in, I'm going to show you as good as I can. Okay, you'll see that that is slid in. There's little tabs on each side here, on this side and on the other side. And you have to get the new piece under the old ones. So if you're curious, look at this before you take it apart. You want to make sure it's slid in all the way, evenly across, so that the gap in the center, there's basically no gap. Once you've got it that way and you can see, looking straight down on it, that there's no gap, it's pushed in tightly, it's not crooked. Then we gently tug on the sticker, and we stick the sticker right back to the back of the monitor. So the sticker is stuck to both the connector, both pieces of the connector, and the back of the monitor. I rotate the new panel back up into position. We're going to put those 4 screws back in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to put a little piece of double-sided tape across the bottom here. Anything you can just buy double-sided tape at Staples or any office supply place, or in a pinch, if you don't have any, it's not going to be the end of the world. What will happen is that plastic on the bottom of the monitor will probably bow out a little bit right there. It's certainly not going to affect usability. And then we're going to reinstall the plastic by simply lining it up, snapping it in place. Before we do that, we're going to want to make sure that we pull this off. I like to leave this on until the last minute, just in case you drop a tool or something and scratch the screen. So now I'm going to reinstall those screws. Okay, the 4 screws are reinstalled. We snugged them down tight. We're going to peel this off. This is a matte screen. The original was glossy. The person I'm replacing this for prefers matte. And now we're going to just line this back up. Just kind of drops right on there. And if you start at the top corners, kind of get those to snap in first. And then just work your way around, pushing it till you hear it click. all the way around. And then to get these to go on, you want to rock the monitor back as far as it'll go and squeeze those like I just did from underneath. Reach your hand underneath and sort of squeeze those together, and they will click eventually. And then on the bottom of this one, I need both hands for this, but maybe you reach up underneath like this to get those last ones done. Now be careful on these, because as you saw, the reason these screens break so easy is there's nothing to support this screen except the screen itself and a very thin layer of plastic on the back side. So anything on this screen will cause it to flex and break. People set a book on them, a kid knocks it off the couch and it lands on something and they snap. Very inexpensively made machines nowadays. But go around a couple more times, just be sure we got all the clicks. Now, I didn't have any double-sided tape this time. I tried to leave some on the back of the plastic here, and it has stuck. So I think that's good enough. In this case, I don't have any gap. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't with these cheap laptops. It just depends on the way the plastic's made and the way it snaps together. Either way, there you go. That is a screen replacement. Grand total, including taking this video, about 10 minutes.